Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So here's my review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 13. I know I'm a little bit late with it, but I will have my reviews on time for the rest of the episodes. Now, I will say right off the bat that this episode definitely is, I would say, it is up there for some of the best episodes of this season. And again, that's not really saying a lot because this season hasn't been great at all. But I actually did enjoy the episode. Like, I actually did enjoy watching it, and that seems to be the general, like, consensus online right now is that this was actually a pretty good episode because a lot of stuff actually happened, and it kind of felt nice at the very end when, you know, everyone kind of came together, and now it seems like we're going to go specifically to one place. And I will say, you know, this whole tower thing, I really think it shouldn't have been this long. Like, I think this should have been like a half a season thing or something like that, or 10 episodes. Like, the last 4 episodes really didn't really matter too much to the overall story. It's something that, like, you can kind of tell that they just kind of came up with stuff out of nowhere, right? Just something to fill in just the story up until this point, because they wanted the last couple of episodes to be, you know, the battle at the tower, Alicia meeting Strand, and then Madison's return and all that. I just feel like you could have, there was a way, like there must have been a way to do it earlier. Definitely, there had to have been, right? And I look over the last however many episodes, and it just kind of feels like, yeah, I don't really get the point of what happened here in season 7. I don't really get the point in a lot of what they did story-wise with some of the characters. Again, I still have a hard time believing that the tower was something that was like supposed to be so important to the overall story. Because like when you think of how the tower story formed, at the end of season 6, Strand, you know, he thought he was going to die by the nuke, and all that stuff was so epic. Like, there's Strand and Howard in that room there, and then they were just kind of left alone, and they were fine. And it was almost like they just took that idea, and they were like, yeah, you know what? Strand is going to be the villain, and this tower is going to be the only place where they could survive. And again, so that could work. That sounds like an okay idea. I don't know. I still think you could have did something different with this. I just think the way it was handled overall throughout the entire season, like there's like literally a good 6 or 7 episodes I would have completely taken out. I would have changed it up a lot. There was so much in here that was just really unnecessary. We didn't need to see all this. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And this is the first episode in a while where I was like, you know what? And I'll say this, there's a lot of stuff in my review that I was getting very annoyed with, but it all made sense in the end because of a certain character's storyline and what's actually going to be happening with that character. So anyways, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Fear the Walking Dead content like this. And as always, this will contain spoilers for episode 13, but let's actually get into the episode here. So surprisingly enough, this was actually a very big Dwight and Sherry episode, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be more of a bigger, like, Alicia and Morgan episode. And yeah, they did get some screen time, but I'd say, you know, the limelight was definitely on Sherry and Dwight. You know, this was their episode. And Sherry was, I will say, pretty annoying pretty much the entire episode until you do find out that she believes that she might be pregnant. The entire time I was writing notes like, Sherry actually thinks that Dwight would side with Strand, that he's going to do stuff like that, or she kept coming up with things in general. And in the beginning, it seemed like she wanted to leave. She found a raft or whatever, and it seemed like she wanted to leave. And so I was like, what the hell is happening here? I thought we moved on from this with Sherry, because Sherry's always been that character that's just been wanting to leave, right? And it just got really frustrating. And I think that was one of the things that was actually pretty nice that in season 6, I'm pretty sure it was in season, yeah, it was in season 6, they decided, or she decided just to stick with Dwight and everything was going to be fine. And it was actually a really nice scene. And I was really happy with that because, yeah, it was just, there are certain storylines that get really annoying. And I think the storyline where a character just wants to leave, that's really annoying because just leave. Like, that's just how I feel about it. You know, Carol had this for so many years, and it was so frustrating to watch. It was just annoying. She wanted to leave, and then she didn't want to leave. And, oh, man, it was just not nice to see with Sherry. But then it made a lot of sense, you know. Sherry has had a lot of issues like this. And the idea of being pregnant, you know, she thought she was pregnant. A lot of these issues come back. And I completely get that because that makes a lot of sense. Things like that happen in real life. A lot of things that you think you're just fine with, all of a sudden when you have kids, it's like, I now have to live for them. So is what's going on right now actually okay, right? And Sherry was questioning that. Like, I'm okay with living like this, you know, if it's just me and Dwight. But if I'm pregnant and we're going to have a baby, then am I really okay with this? And so all of her decisions sort of throughout the episode that could have been frustrating actually made sense in the end. And I was like, okay, this actually everything. I have to scrap a lot of my notes in here because I was just complaining about a lot of stuff. And I actually do really like that. I really like the idea that, you know, she is pregnant, and that final scene there between her and Dwight, or I guess Austin Emilio, was some really great stuff there. Like, especially for Austin Emilio, like really great stuff in there, you know, about him, you know, becoming a dad, and just sort of, you know, maybe the fact that they're going to die, and, you know, them finding out that, you know, they're going to have a baby, that they're pregnant. It was like, it was something that I actually really liked in the episode. It was something that gave Sherry a lot of courage, and they actually got out of there, because it makes sense. You find out something really good like that, and that's all your mind is. You get this big adrenaline rush, and you're like, you know what, we're going to get out of here. And so she's going to start prying her way out of there. She's going to like take all those rocks out. And I love the fact that she did that. And that can be, that literally could be a story in the future, in 20 years or something, if Dwight and Sherry's kid, you know, eventually goes to Alexandria and they're talking with Judith or whoever, right? And maybe they know the story of what happened, or maybe we actually hear Dwight. Maybe Sherry dies at some point in the future, and Dwight tells, you know, their child that, you know, when we found out that you were pregnant, you know, we were gonna die, like it was done. And then your mom got so much courage and literally like dug us out of that tunnel, something that, you know, Dwight couldn't even do. And I think that story there, I think this scene there and everything, just beautifully done. I really loved all of that. And yeah, I guess they're gonna have a baby now, and so now they really gotta take this tower. And so I really like where Sherry and Dwight's story is going. Honestly, I'm really happy with the direction of their I guess the character story, and just where it could actually go in season 8. And yeah, I hope they do a time jump soon. I hope they like very soon catch up with the Walking Dead's timeline, and also get out of this. Like that's the one thing I'm gonna say. I don't understand why they stay within this Fallout zone. It really doesn't make much sense. Is the tower really the only place that they can stay in? Like, you know what I mean? Just leave, go somewhere else. Like, there's no way this place has taken over everything. Like, they know that they can just walk in a certain direction, walk straight, and eventually it will be clear. It will be fine. But for some reason, they're so hung up on taking the tower. And to me, it makes no sense, but I think the way I have to explain it is that it's clearly a writer decision, right? Like the writers, I think, for this season are very, like, they're adamant on, no, like the focal point is going to be Strand's tower. We need to make this the focus of the story. It's something that everybody wants, but Strand has, and he's not letting people, you know, he's basically allowing people to die. That can be okay. It's just that you're going to have a lot of, I don't know if it's that exciting of a story. There's going to be a lot of logic that you kind of have to ignore. Like, why don't the characters just leave? Like, that's just such a, I don't know. I don't get that part of it. And also, if Strand survives after doing all of this, man, people are going to be pissed off. And so the only way this makes it worth it is if Strand dies, because then it's like a big character from season 1 dies. And it sort of, this season is sort of his season, and we just kind of see his downfall played throughout, right? Now, the other story was obviously the story with Morgan and baby Momo. You know, they were trying to get away from, I guess, Strand's moat walkers or whatever, because I guess he had a moat of walkers around his tower. And, you know, I still overall don't get why, you know, you want to lead the walkers away. I mean, I guess I get it. You don't want Strand to take the walkers again. It just kind of felt like it was very pointless, I'll say. Because first of all, why would they all follow like that? Like, I always think of the logic of that. I don't see how all of those walkers would follow just like that. Like, it makes no sense to be able to easily, like hoard a bunch of walkers together. It makes no sense to me. And also, there was one other thing, you know, like when, I guess those people, the Rangers or whatever, that were shooting at Morgan, Dwight, and Sherry, you know, like, they didn't see the walkers coming and then they just died. Like, those characters couldn't back up. It's the little things like that where you can see the writing there. They just needed something there to cause some sort of conflict, but it was so unnecessary. The whole thing was just really pointless. And also, Wes, what the hell has happened to this character? You know, like, when he left in in episode 11, it kind of made sense. It made sense that he would leave, because he probably thought, you know what, you guys are kind of messed up. I don't really want to be a part of this. You know, so I get that part of it. But it's also like, since he's been at Strand's tower, he's just become so evil. Like, he's kind of lost who he originally was. And I could see him joining the tower because he thinks, well, I'm going to join the tower here and I'm going to do what I have to do here for Strand. You know, It's just that we're not getting that. He's not even recognizable anymore. He's not even the character that we all loved. Like, he was actually a really great character, especially in season 6, a really great character. But now he's just all about just whatever. Like, he's become like the sidekick character, basically, that is just gonna do whatever Strand wants. And it's just kind of frustrating to see. You know, like, I could see a story where if you wanted to do something like that, maybe Wes still has a little bit of heart, you know, so that, you know, in that scene where Wes was actually talking with Dwight, maybe Wes is like, I really don't want to do this, but I need that baby, this and that. And maybe you can see a little bit more of the conflict there, but he's just kind of there and he just looks like he's evil and he's going to kill them and he wants the baby. Like, it's just like, I don't know what happened to the character. And again, it's the writing, and it's pretty obvious that they wanted to kill Howard off and give basically Howard's story to Wes, which I find really weird because Wes was more interesting when he was on our side, and Howard is overall a more interesting character than Wes. So I think they just kind of made a really bad decision here. We do see Alicia in this episode. She does need some generators to power on her signal and whatnot, but I mean, obviously the submarine is leaking radiation, so they just gotta leave. And I guess that's the last we're gonna see of the submarine, which I think I think the last we should have saw the submarine was in season 6. Like, really, every time we were in the submarine this season, it's been overall frustrating. It's been just like, I don't know, why the hell are we still here? Makes no sense. Like maybe episode 1 of season 7, you know, they start off there because technically Morgan and Grace were there. But like, maybe in that episode they leave. There are some really cool things in this episode. Like, Sherry found Alicia's weapon, and Sherry actually has the weapon now, so that's kind of nice. Really, overall, I think the flow of the episode was all right. I was frustrated a lot early on, but it all made sense in the end. And so, to me, overall, the final act was a lot of fun. It was actually really great. You know, Alicia does apologize to Morgan at one point and says that, you know, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to come back sooner. I was just a little scared because I know what's going to have to happen. If I see Strand, I'm going to have to kill him. And I really like that. I like that because that actually shows that, you know, she doesn't want to kill him, because that makes sense. But obviously she has to at this point. And I hope that does happen, because we're building to that moment. It's something that I think, like, we need that payoff here this season. And so it was just a great scene by Alicia, you know, to actually open up about that a little bit more there. And again, it all sort of built up. Like, everybody was together there. It really felt like it was like almost like a penultimate episode before the battle. And I did see the trailer for episode 14, which does show that a battle is going to be happening. So that's a little interesting. But yeah, the episode ends with Morgan leaving. And I don't know where he's going. I didn't catch anything regarding Alexandria, so I don't know if people are just kind of saying that. So yeah, I didn't catch anything regarding Alexandria. I think he's just trying to go find where that woman came from. So wherever Morgan's going is going to be something season 8 related. And I wonder if where Morgan is going is where Madison is. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering right now. I don't know about the whole Alexandria thing. Like, after watching this, there was nothing that really teased it. It did kind of feel like Morgan was off the show, though. Like, the vibe I got was that was his exit from the show. It just kind of felt like it. It felt very, like, finale-like, right? Or finale-like. Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see on that. I'm definitely really excited to see where Morgan's going to be going and when he actually makes a reappearance. But, well, I mean, I imagine we're going to find out this season. So anyways, yeah, overall, you know, a pretty good episode. I think that if you haven't really been feeling Fear the Walking Dead, I say watch episode 13 and then kind of just continue on from here for the rest of the season anyways, because episode 14 looks like it's going to be really good. And then there's only 15 and 16 left, which is basically the tower's destruction or whatever the hell's going to happen, right? Madison's return as well. So I think it's going to be fun from here. I don't really recommend watching previous episodes. Like, if you've watched all of season 6, maybe you can watch a recap somewhere, watch some of my reviews maybe, you know, just kind of get a general sense of it, and then just watch these last, like, 4 episodes. Because for me personally, like, it just hasn't been that exciting. And, you know, only now is it actually getting worth watching. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Make sure to post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.